So to begin, we're going to be talking about the background and characteristics of the pecan tree. Um, so the tree trunks normally reach a diameter of 3 feet and have a dark gray color tone. On the other hand, the twigs are going to be normally slender and have a brown color tone. This is normally due to the color pigmentation aging, which results in the gray tone of the twigs turning into a brown tone in the trunks, which is the older wood in the pecan tree. Now moving on to pecan leaves. Pecan leaves generally reach 16 to 28 inches long with stalks that are 1 to 3 inches. In each of the leaves of the pecan tree are shaped like a cone, as you can see from the picture in the middle. Now moving on to the drupes, which are actually known as pecans. They're not actually known as pecans until they mature and actually drop from the tree, but until then they're actually known as drupes within the pecan tree. Now the flowering season of the pecan tree begins in April to early May. During this period, the pecan leaves begin to develop small green flowers that appear in a string type shape that you can see in the far right picture. Later in October to November, the pecan will begin to develop clusters of 3 to 10 drupes. This drupe is not technically considered to be a nut and is surrounded by a tough husk to protect it from lingering predators. Now moving on to the ecosystem impact. What does it provide? So firstly, we have the production of food, obviously, because the pecan tree provides, pecans for the squirrels to eat, for any animals to eat, or anything like that. Secondly, we have shelter, because lots of birds obviously live within the pecan tree, squirrels live within the pecan tree, and even insects or termites or anything like that. And thirdly, we have cleaner air, which is also a great production because every tree goes through photosynthesis, which ultimately creates cleaner air for our environment, which is just another great way that it contributes to the ecosystem. Now moving on to the economic impact. Why is it important? The pecan tree serves many purposes in this world, and it is clear what it contributes to the ecosystem and the economy. This is really true because the industry of the pecan is so widely known by many people. It's all around the world. It's really popular within the southern states, and it's a very big culture. Also, food. The pecans are used in our economy for food in lots of different ways. For pie, obviously, which is a really great one. In any kind of stews, putting in meats. There's all kinds of recipes that involve pecans that are a great southern culture. And thirdly, we have money. Obviously, the pecan is a very large industry in many ways because it is just so broad. But in the first year that it started, the pecan actually made within $74 million. And that's what the industry of the pecan tree itself is actually worth. So that's what the economic impact of the pecan tree is. So in prairie restoration, I think that the pecan tree could be used in a few ways. Firstly, the location of the pecan tree is normally found in, moister areas that are going to be closer to bodies of water like streams or lakes or anything really like that. So if we go through the process of seeding, then that will result in the tree growing in those areas more prosperly than any other plant that could. And thirdly, we have animals, because prairie restoration, a lot of animals will be eating the pecans and transferring it around. Birds may pick it up, squirrels bury it, which produce more of them, which more pecan trees will be growing. And birds can even pick up the seeds and take them places where they'll also grow as well. So in conclusion, we've gone over the background and characteristics of the pecan tree and what it really looks like. We've also gone through the ecosystem impact and what it contributes to the ecosystem, in how there is food, shelter, and cleaner air. It provides all those things for us. And even the economic impact, because we discussed how um, the pecan tree contributes to the economy by its industry. It's been around for many, many years. It is very popular in the Southern culture. And like I said, within its first year of its production, it even saw $74 million, and that's what the pecan tree is normally valued at. But it is a plant that is producing every year, which is also producing revenue every year. And fourthly, we've talked about the prairie restoration and how the pecan tree can be used in prairies to um, be planted, and how animals can help that process, and where to use the seeds of the pecan tree in helping towards the prairie restoration. And this all was made possible by a pecan that started just at that size.